Diddy, once a symbol of success and opulence in the entertainment industry, recently made a startling revelation. His life in prison came dangerously close to an abrupt and violent end. According to his own account, one night while he was asleep in his cell, Diddy was suddenly jolted awake by the terrifying image of a man looming over him, a shank pressed harshly against his throat. This incident, which occurred at Fort Dix prison, has sent shockwaves through the prison system, especially after an inmate exposed details that were meant to remain concealed. Footage of Diddy inside the prison, paired with reports of him being relentlessly targeted, has rapidly gone viral on social media, sparking public debate about the depths of this escalating nightmare. Since the release of 50 Cent's explosive documentary on Netflix, new damning evidence has emerged. This includes testimonies connecting Diddy to a past brimming with criminal activity, casting an even darker shadow over his time behind bars. In this video, we'll take a comprehensive look into Diddy's tumultuous journey through prison, while diving deep into the ongoing criminal investigation that just kicked off last week, shedding light on a situation far more complicated and sinister than anyone could have imagined. Despite the footage showing Diddy appearing calm and collected in the prison library, surrounded by inmates and even sharing smiles with those around him, the reality behind his current life in prison couldn't be further from this facade. While Diddy may seem relaxed, this outward appearance is nothing more than a carefully constructed illusion, hiding the much darker truth that he's living in constant fear for his life. Over the past year alone, Diddy has been the target of over 3 separate violent attacks, each one narrowly escaping with his life. Whether locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in New York or at Fort Dix in New Jersey, the fact remains, Diddy is a marked man. But how did he end up here? What led this entertainment mogul, with untold riches and a vast network of influence, to be in such a dangerous and precarious position? To truly understand the gravity of his situation, we need to rewind and take a closer look at his path that led him into the hellish confines of prison. Diddy, now confined to a quiet job at the prison library, seems to be living a relatively simple life on the surface. His role involves helping other inmates with book and movie recommendations, an activity that in the right context could almost seem harmless. He also assists in distributing religious materials and movies to his fellow inmates, trying to create a semblance of normalcy in the midst of the chaos that surrounds him. On the surface, this appears like a relatively peaceful escape from the daily violence of prison life. Diddy's involvement with other prisoners, helping them find entertainment or spiritual solace, gives the impression of a man who's managing to stay above the fray. But even as he goes about his daily duties in the library, a much darker truth simmers beneath the calm. While this position in the library might seem like a step up from his initial assignment in the laundry room, it also reflects the real nature of Diddy's situation. His new role could easily be seen as a promotion, one that he likely secured through the vast network of connections he's built over the years. Connections that in prison can sometimes offer more than just a little bit of comfort. But don't be fooled. Despite the outwardly calm and somewhat normal role Diddy seems to be playing in the library, his real life behind bars is anything but peaceful. The truth is far more dire. Diddy is in serious trouble. His sentence stems from incredibly severe charges, and while they may not involve children, they are still sex offenses, a category of crime that is absolutely despised and met with the harshest form of contempt within the prison system. Even though the victims were adults and not children, the nature of the offense still places Diddy in a perilous position, constantly under the microscope of his fellow inmates. The animosity directed toward him is palpable and, more importantly, deadly. But the issues Diddy faces behind bars don't end with the charges against him. His wealth is a major factor in his growing danger. Diddy is a man with vast financial resources, and in the prison system, wealth is a double-edged sword. It makes you a target. Every inmate knows that money talks, and many would stop at nothing to get their hands on what Diddy has. His fortune, his fame, and his celebrity status all combine to make him a high-profile target. It's not just about the money, it's about the power and influence that comes with it. In prison, that kind of status holds weight, and if someone were to harm or even kill Diddy, it would raise their own status within the system. A man who takes down someone like Diddy can become a legend in the harsh, brutal world of the incarcerated. Diddy's name alone would ensure that anyone who harmed him would gain a form of prison-wide notoriety. Yet beyond the danger his wealth brings, there is an even more chilling factor at play. Diddy is being targeted for something far more than his money or his past. These attacks are personal. It's clear that someone is sending Diddy a message, a warning, if you will. They want him to keep quiet, to shut up, and to stop making waves. They want him to stop dropping names and stop talking to anyone who could possibly help him get out of the situation he finds himself in. The message is loud and clear. Keep your head down and keep quiet, or the consequences will be far worse. To fully understand why Diddy is facing such intense opposition, we need to delve deeper into the charges that were brought against him. In September, Diddy was hit with serious federal RICO charges, which initially seemed like a clear-cut case. But as the case unfolded, it became apparent that Diddy wasn't operating alone. He had accomplices, people who are now actively working to intimidate him into keeping quiet. These are not just some random prisoners looking to make a name for themselves. They are the people Diddy once trusted, and they are now trying to shut him down before he can talk. Diddy's legal team is already fighting back, arguing that his sentence is too harsh and that he should be granted a shorter sentence or even a full acquittal based on the fact that he was acquitted of more severe charges. But it's not just the legal battles he's facing. It's the constant, relentless threats on his life that continue to overshadow everything he does. Diddy never imagined he'd be in this situation. He believed that his immense network of connections, friends in high places like Bill Clinton, Obama, Trump, and even members of the British royal family would protect him from facing any real consequences. He thought his influence could shield him from the justice system. But now it's become clear that no amount of wealth, no amount of influence can protect him from the cold, harsh reality of prison life. In fact, Diddy has been bragging to fellow inmates, telling them that Trump would pardon him. However, Trump, after months of contemplation, has made it clear that he won't intervene. When asked about the possibility of a pardon, Trump directly rejected Diddy's request, stating, "I haven't seen him, I haven't spoken to him in years." The saga doesn't end with Trump's rejection, however. 50 Cent, Diddy's long-standing rival, has relentlessly pursued the mogul's downfall, and his documentary has only added fuel to the fire. When Diddy attempted to use his relationship with Trump to secure a pardon, 50 Cent wasted no time in intervening. He reached out to Trump, reminding him of the things Diddy had said about him, ensuring that no pardon would be granted. 50 Cent's vendetta against Diddy goes beyond personal rivalry. It's a calculated effort to ensure that Diddy faces the full consequences of his actions. As Diddy's world collapses, his financial empire is also unraveling. He's being forced to sell off personal assets, including his beloved $30 million private jet, just to make ends meet. His financial decline is only worsening, and his wealth is rapidly dissipating just as his legal troubles continue to pile up. Even his staff, who once relied on him for their livelihoods, are now left waiting for paychecks as Diddy's legal bills continue to rise. The situation is becoming more desperate by the day, and now a fresh investigation has been launched, adding yet another layer of trouble to Diddy's already precarious existence. Not only is he facing the original RICO charges, but new allegations from a music producer have surfaced, further deepening the web of accusations surrounding him. Meanwhile, the public continues to watch as Diddy's world unravels, and 50 Cent's role in the exposure of Diddy's past continues to grow. As if this wasn't enough, Diddy's former associates are now speaking out, revealing shocking details about the mogul's behavior while incarcerated. Gene Deal, who once served as Diddy's personal security, has gone public with concerns about Diddy's mental state, suggesting that if things continue the way they are, Diddy might not survive the harsh realities of prison. He may even choose to take his own life rather than endure the torment. Even more troubling than the series of attacks on Diddy is the sinister message behind them. Someone is trying to force him into silence. These attacks are not random outbursts of violence. They are calculated moves designed to ensure that Diddy remains quiet, that he stops naming names and stops revealing the secrets of those who may have been complicit in the crimes that have brought him here. The reality of the situation is much darker than anyone could have imagined. These are not just threats to his body, they are threats to his very survival, his ability to speak, act out, and his legacy. But why is Diddy being targeted in such a brutal way? What could he possibly know that makes him such a threat to so many? The answer lies in the charges that were brought against him. When federal authorities arrested Diddy in September, they hit him with serious RICO charges, a case that was supposed to hold him accountable for crimes tied to organized criminal activity. However, there's an alarming detail here that raises more questions than it answers. Despite being at the center of this RICO investigation, Diddy was the only individual named in the case. This glaring omission makes one thing crystal clear: Diddy wasn't acting alone, he had accomplices. And now those same people are actively working to silence him to make sure he doesn't reveal the true extent of their involvement. Their fear is evident. Diddy holds knowledge that could bring down others in powerful positions. And they will stop at nothing to prevent him from speaking. Diddy's legal team has fought back, arguing that his sentence is excessively harsh, especially in light of the fact that a jury acquitted him of more severe charges. His attorneys have been working tirelessly to get his sentence reduced or even overturned, citing that the punishment he's receiving doesn't align with the crimes he was convicted of. On paper, it makes sense. After all, Diddy has already faced a brutal trial, and the penalties should fit the charges, not exceed them. But the grim reality is that it's not just the legal battles that Diddy is fighting. His very life is at risk. The walls of his prison cell seem to be closing in on him with every passing day. Diddy, who once believed that no matter the outcome, his wealth and connections would shield him from real consequences, is now coming face to face with the hard truth. No amount of power can protect him from what's coming next. For Diddy, this nightmare was supposed to be something distant, something he could navigate with the help of his immense network of influential friends. He was well connected, with ties to some of the most powerful people in the world: Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, and even members of the British royal family. These relationships were supposed to be his safety net, his shield against the justice system. But now that net has unraveled, and Diddy's world is falling apart at the seams. Diddy never imagined he would be in this situation. He He thought his status, his fame, and his connections would allow him to avoid the harshest of consequences. But the reality is hitting him fast and hard, and it's doing so with a speed that he never anticipated. Despite Diddy's many powerful allies, his situation behind bars has only gotten worse. Even though he's tried to remain confident, even bragging to fellow inmates that Trump would pardon him, it's clear that he is desperate. It's evident that Diddy is clinging to whatever hope he can hold on to, trying to leverage the last of his connections. But Trump, who Diddy once believed would come to his aid, has made his stance clear. He is not coming to the rescue. When asked about the possibility of a pardon for Diddy, Trump firmly rejected the idea, stating, "I haven't seen him, I haven't spoken to him in years." This public rejection from a former ally was a bitter blow to Diddy, a blow that shattered the fragile hope he had left. But the drama doesn't end there. Diddy's greatest enemy, 50 Cent, has been relentless in his pursuit to bring Diddy down. The moment news broke that Diddy had been talking about getting a pardon from Trump, 50 Cent wasted no time in taking action. He immediately reached out to Trump, reminding him of the things Diddy had said about him in the past, ensuring that Diddy would never get a pardon. 50 Cent's vendetta against Diddy is not just a personal rivalry, it's a strategic move. 50 Cent has made it his mission to ensure that Diddy faces the consequences of his actions, no matter how powerful or influential Diddy believes he is. The relentless pursuit of Diddy doesn't end with 50 Cent's interference, though. It also extends to the collapse of Diddy's empire. Diddy's financial situation is rapidly deteriorating. The mogul who once flaunted his wealth, his private jets, his luxury homes, his lifestyle, now finds himself forced to sell off his most prized assets just to make ends meet. One of the most stunning blows has been the sale of his $30 million private jet. This was the same jet Diddy once flaunted for the cameras, a symbol of his power and influence. But now, under the weight of mounting legal fees and financial strain, he's forced to part with it, trying to salvage whatever remains of his fortune. The reports are clear: Diddy is liquidating assets at a rapid pace, all in an effort to keep up with his legal bills and pay the staff who have been left in limbo as they await the payments owed to them. This isn't just about Diddy losing money, it's about the collapse of his entire empire. Empire, built on years of hard work, influence, and business dealings, is crumbling around him. The mogul's downfall is happening right before our eyes. It's not just financial, it's personal and professional, and it's devastating. But the collapse of Diddy's empire goes far beyond financial troubles. The collapse of his status, his reputation, and his legacy is perhaps the most profound aspect of his downfall. Diddy's name was once synonymous with power, wealth, and influence. He was a man who could move mountains, who could change the course of industries with the swipe of a hand. Now, however, his name is being dragged through the mud. His wealth is slipping through his fingers, his influence is waning, and his once thriving empire is falling to pieces. The man who once had everything now finds himself struggling to hold on to even the smallest scraps of his former life. It's not just about the money, the fame, or the power, it's about survival. Diddy is in a battle for his life, both behind bars and outside of them. Every move he makes, every decision he takes, only inches him closer to the inevitable collapse of everything he's worked for. The walls around him are closing in tighter, and the truth is, he's running out of options. As the walls close in, Diddy must now reckon with the full weight of the consequences of his actions, the allies he has lost, and the very real dangers he faces every single day. Will he make it out alive, or will this be the end of the once mighty mogul? The answer is uncertain, but one thing is for sure: Diddy's story is far from over. But perhaps the most shocking aspect of this entire saga is the fresh criminal investigation now being launched against Diddy. The weight of his original charges, which once seemed like the worst of his troubles, has now been compounded by new, even more serious allegations. A music producer has come forward, accusing Diddy of grave misconduct. The revelations are a part of a chain reaction that is rapidly unraveling Diddy's life in ways no one, neither his enemies nor those who once called themselves his allies, can escape. This is no longer just a story about a celebrity downfall. It's a tale of corruption, violence, and retribution that is unfolding in real time. At the heart of this unfolding nightmare is 50 Cent's documentary, which has emerged as the catalyst for much of the chaos. But let's be clear, this documentary is not just a storytelling tool. It has become a weapon, a carefully constructed piece of journalism designed to expose Diddy's past for all to see. 50 Cent has used his massive platform not just to tell a story, but to ensure that Diddy's history is dragged into the light, seen, heard, and dissected in the most public way possible. As the investigation intensifies, so does the public scrutiny surrounding Diddy's actions, his decisions, and the long list of people he's wronged along the way. What's even more astonishing is the fact that even Diddy's former associates are stepping forward, breaking their silence and revealing details that had once been buried deep beneath the surface. Gene Deal, a former security guard for Diddy, has gone public with revelations that paint a far darker picture of Diddy's life behind bars. According to Gene, Diddy's mental state is deteriorating at an alarming rate. He's living in constant fear, not just of the threats from inmates, but from the overwhelming pressure of his situation. Gene has even gone so far as to suggest that Diddy may not survive this prison sentence. The combination of isolation, fear, and the relentless attacks on his reputation has taken a toll on Diddy's psyche. If things continue down this path, Gene fears Diddy might even choose to end his own life rather than endure the crushing weight of his downfall. It's a bleak and tragic reality, but it's one that Diddy seems to be facing head-on. His empire, his wealth, his career, all of it is slipping away, and no matter how much he tries to hold on, the truth is that he's now fighting for his very survival. The investigation surrounding Diddy is intensifying, and it's not just his mental state that's crumbling, it's the very system of power he built around himself. Prison life is unforgiving, especially for someone like Diddy, who has been accused of the very types of crimes that the prison system has zero tolerance for. The mob-like mentality of the inmates and the harsh realities of life behind bars make it clear. Diddy is not just fighting his charges, he's fighting for his life. Every day he faces new threats, new dangers, and the constant fear that his enemies, both inside and outside the prison walls, are closing in on him. With each passing day, his reputation continues to take a further beating. His once untouchable image, built on decades of fame and success, is now tarnished by the weight of criminal investigations and mounting accusations. But the legal troubles don't end with the RICO charges. There's another specter that looms over Diddy's future, a looming trial regarding the deaths of two of hip-hop's most iconic figures, Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls. The evidence linking Diddy to these murders continues to mount, and the whispers around his involvement are growing louder. The question of whether Diddy played a role in the tragic deaths of these legends is no longer a distant theory. It's something that is now a very real part of his criminal case. For many, Diddy's alleged involvement in the deaths of Tupac and Biggie is the final nail in the coffin, a reminder that the empire he built was not just fueled by music and business savvy, but by something much darker. In the end, Diddy's empire, once a symbol of power, wealth, and influence, is now on the verge of complete collapse. His wealth is rapidly disappearing, his legal battles are intensifying with each passing day, and his reputation, once unshakable, is now in ruins. The mighty mogul who once ruled the music industry with an iron fist is now a prisoner to his own past. The prison walls that confine him may be literal, but it's the web of crimes, lies, and betrayals that he has woven over the years that truly hold him captive. Whether he survives this, whether he makes it out on the other side of these tumultuous trials, remains to be seen. But one thing is for certain, the walls are closing in on Diddy, and it's unclear whether they'll ever open again. The empire he once commanded is crumbling, and with it, the life he built for himself. Now, the only question that remains is how much longer he can survive the consequences of his actions, and whether he'll ever see freedom again.